Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome. So thank you so much for joining us. As I'm sure you know, we're at King's College, Cambridge, where people like Alan Turing, John Maynard Keynes, and now you have innovated and will be innovating. Come forward if you are not shy. There's loads of seats in the front. I just wanted to say two quick things. Those of you who haven't been to the E-Lab before, the Entrepreneurship Lab, we are created at King's, but actually it's not it's a King's initiative, but it's for all of Cambridge and actually for all of our community. And thank you for those of us joining live. Mia tells me we've got 2,000 viewers. I think they think we have the Will I Am. That event was last term. Just quick things at the E-Lab. What we're trying to do is we're trying to challenge the status quo and reimagine the world, and that's where you are, and that's where these guys are part of. So it's an absolute pleasure. Oh, there you go, Francesca. I said, where did Francesca go? It's an absolute pleasure to do a large number of events, but one of the events that we are super proud of, conceptualized by our senior advisory board, and Shilpa will say a few words, hopefully, is Spark, and hopefully that's what you're here for. And throughout the evening, you'll hear more about Spark. What we do at these events, if you've not been here, we have the fireside chat, we have some amazing founders here. After that, we will have a Q&A, and after that, can everybody who's involved with E-Lab, so Sophie, who's the executive director, Mia, the coordinator, can everybody who's involved with the E-Lab just put their hands up? You've been involved in the past, there we go. And you come and speak to... Yeah, I know, you guys, thank you, that's why I want to see, we are in it together. So if you come up to us, if you want to find out more, and if you just want to have a one-to-one chat about Spark in our programs. So with an absolute pleasure, by the way, I should have said, my name is Kamir Mahadis. I'm one of the co-founders and director of the E-Lab, Direct E-Lab, together with the amazing, the incredible, the one and only Sophie Harbour, who's standing over there. She does all the work, really. I have all the fun. I just go and I just take photos. Shall I hand you back to our amazing, brilliant, incredible, and my former student, actually, I want to take credit for any good things that happened, Francesca, who's the director of the Spark Incubator program.
Thank you, Kamia. Okay, so the format for this evening is we're going to do a whistle-stop tour, quick overview, contextualize the program, and then we're going to hand over to our wonderful panelists here, all of which are alumni from the Spark 1.0 cohort, who are going to share firsthand their experiences of the program and how it's helped them incubate their ventures. So tonight we have the wonderful Callan, Ruben, Natalia, and Bernard, and we'll hear from them shortly. But before we do, I just want to bring up Shilpa, who is a member of the Senior Advisory Board and fundamentally responsible for the Spark programme, and she's going to share some context. Welcome, Shilpa.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here tonight for the launch of Spark 2.0. Spark was the first ever incubator programme to be hosted here at King's last year. It was a concept that we dreamt up at the Senior Advisory Board of the King's E-Lab approximately 2 years ago. In true entrepreneurial style, what started out as an idea and literally a 2-page board document quickly became reality. It was an initiative that we fought very hard to launch. And worked in very, very close partnership with King's College leadership and with Camiar's help to navigate us through various approval processes, and obviously working also closely with Vice Provost Robin Osborne and Malcolm Mackenzie, that you'll see up on the page, the chair of our advisory board. We were able to bring to life something that we never really imagined would happen. So the first ever incubator was launched here at King's in end of August last year. The first program was launched in partnership with founders at the University of Cambridge, and they really helped us to create a very, very solid foundation for the program. And what differentiates Spark, and the reason we created it, was we saw that there was a gap in the market in Cambridge. And we saw that there was potential to create a highly distinctive program which was professionally led by serial entrepreneurs and investors with proven track records that could come in and offer hands-on practical training in an intensive format for PhDs, postgrads and researchers. And the objective we had behind Spark was that we would help these postgraduates and PhDs, help give them the tools, the expertise, the mentorship, and put an ecosystem around them so they could translate their academic and scientific research into an investable pitch. It didn't stop just there. We also put together, right here in Keynes Hall last September, a global investor demo day. The room was packed full of investors from Cambridge, London and beyond, and we also live streamed to investors around the world. And we were able to secure early stage investment for some of our companies, more news on those coming soon, I believe. And we're really excited to continue the program this year. Francesca will go into more details about the application process and what's to come. The reason for inviting you here tonight is just to encourage you all to apply if you're interested. And if Spark's not for you, but you know somebody that would benefit from this program, please share the word. Applications open tonight. And we're really excited to move this program into the future. So thanks for coming.
Thank you, Shilpa. Okay, so Spark and Spark, the incubator. Cambridge is a phenomenal place, as I'm sure you all know. There are so many things going on. It's almost impossible to map all of them. IE Cambridge does a very good job of this, and I just wanted to contextualise where Spark sits in all of these wonderful initiatives. This is probably one of the only incubators that you'll find across the University of Cambridge. It's highly intensive, it's a residential programme, it runs from the 24th of August through to the 25th of September. The beauty of this programme, as hopefully our panellists can attest to, is really the pace and the speed of acceleration that you can get from joining an incubator like this. It's targeted very much at early stage venture building. We're looking for something that's a little bit more than just an idea. That said, if you have years and years of academic research and you have some levels of deep IP or anything that you're particularly passionate about that you think you could spin up quickly with the support of a business ecosystem around you, then please do apply. Many of you may know or are currently participating in the SYNC program that's run by founders. This is a co-founder matching program. This Spark program sits quite nicely as a follow-up to the SYNC program. So if you are part of any other incubator or accelerator program in Cambridge, you still can apply to Spark. And do let us know in the application that you've been part of those other programs, because that may be of benefit as well. So we're looking for 4 key things. I won't go on and on and on, but just for context, these are the 4 things that we'll be screening against in the initial application process. So we'll be looking for the problem that you're solving. Entrepreneurship frequently can be spoken about in terms of ideas. I've got an idea for this, I've got an idea to change the world. Ideas are wonderful, and please share your ideas, but more specifically, think about what is the problem that you're solving, because there could be many iterations of a solution for that. And if we know the problem that you're trying to solve, we can help you through this Spark program as well, because this is really about incubating and accelerating those ventures. Secondly, we'll be looking at traction. Have you developed a minimum viable product? Have you got a pilot customer? What have you done to prove that what you're working on has market value that can be commercialized quickly? Let us know. Then we'll be looking at the team. I'm sure you're all amazing, but tell us specifically about your credentials and why you think you're the people to solve this problem. And then last but not least, impact. So has it got global market application, or perhaps has it got a level of sustainability that you want to talk about, or does it have, is it good for the world, fundamentally? These are the 4 key things that we'll be looking for when we're screening initial applications. So applications are open now. They're live at spark@kings.com. We'll share the URL with you and a QR code shortly. You can apply up until the 31st of March, but if you've got any questions, there's all the contact details on the website, or grab us in the bar afterwards. Does anyone have any immediate questions that they want to ask? Otherwise, I'll hand over shortly. there'll be an opportunity to ask questions later after the panel. So if you do have any questions that you'd like to ask, we are here. Okay, right. Brilliant. Next slide to introduce our wonderful panel. Okay, so Callan is going to host you all this evening. All of these wonderful individuals, Callan, Ruben, Natalia, and Bernard, I had the privilege of supporting through the Spark 1.0 cohort. These are all incredible individuals building incredible companies. And I'll pass over to Callan so you can introduce yourselves.
Fantastic. Right, hi guys, I'm Callan. We were all founders on the Spark program last year, which was the inaugural cohort. So we were the guinea pigs for what was already a fantastic program. So I'm excited to see what they pull off this year. I'm the co-founder of a company called Polytex, but I actually joined the Spark program under a different project, which hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about later.
Excellent. So, hello everyone, nice to meet you. I'm Ruben and I'm the CEO of Polytex. And well, I guess we'll talk about the ventures later, but yeah, I joined the Spark program alone, and that's where, well, I met Callan, who's now a co-founder of the company as well. And yeah, definitely very happy to see this, the 2.0 version and essentially telling you about it. It's really great.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalia. I'm the CEO of Minerva, and we're helping to basically connect art galleries and fairs with people who want to buy their art, and hopefully more broadly help any business that's trying to capture interest in person and live interactions and turn that interest into sales. So yeah, I was part of the Spark program. I actually also did Sync right before it, so later if you have questions about that, I'm happy to chat about it. But yeah, great to be here and see you guys.
Hi, my name is Bernard. I'm the CEO founder of MedArcade. So we're building a health tech solution, which I'm sure we'll talk more about later. But I was also part of the Spark 1.0 program. Really lucky to have met so many brilliant minds, and I'm really looking forward to what's coming up afterwards.
Fantastic. Yeah, so I hope we can cover a few things in the next half an hour. I want to cover sort of what the Spark program was able to give you. I would love to hear a little bit more about your journeys as entrepreneurs, what made you want to be an entrepreneur, how did you pick up the skills to do so? I would also like to hear about your favorite parts of the program, and then at the end, hopefully, we can cover advice for applicants, potentially. So I think we already sort of touched on a little bit about the startups you're working on, but it would be great to hear in a sort of a one line, not even a sentence. If you take a breath, you failed, okay? I want to hear one line, what you're building, and who you're building it for, and what problem you're solving. So I'm going to go down, so if you could pass I'm going to try and keep it organic and dynamic, so hopefully we don't just keep going down the line again and again and again, but you might have to wrestle for the microphone.
You want to go first? Oh dear. Okay, can you repeat the question again?
Yes. One line, what are you building, who are you building it for, what problem are you solving?
Right, so at Polytex we develop smart flexible electrode arrays that can map the electrical activity of the body non-invasively, and we're doing so to improve diagnostics in general, but specifically valvular heart disease in dogs. I try not to breathe for that one.
Fantastic.
We are helping businesses capture the interest that happens in the moment in passing and turn that into sales, starting with the art market.
So at MedArcade, we are building an agentic AI platform that simplifies multimodal data to amplify care for clinicians.
Brilliant. Fantastic. I've definitely got to say, I think Minerva wins the title of coolest idea. I mean, art galleries, that is ridiculous. It'd be fantastic to hear what stage of development your company was before you applied to Spark, and what stage it's potentially now. So, Ruben? Actually, no, microphones are down there, let's save time. Bernard.
I think before we joined Spark, we didn't even have funding. It was all bootstrapped. A lot of the idea we came with an idea, but definitely with mentorship and also the kind of ideation with our cohort members, definitely develop that idea further, down the line and make it more kind of commercially viable. And I think that was like a key kind of drive for us to get subsequent fundings and also initial calls with investors.
Fantastic. And can I just ask, how much did you know about entrepreneurship yourself? Like operations, fundraising, before you did Spark?
I'd say I know a bit about it, but I wouldn't say I was absolutely so experienced in the field. Definitely Spark has the framework and all the courses and modules that would prepare you for that. I think a lot of it is kind of learned by doing. I think that's the kind of main thing that I learned as an entrepreneur. It's like you can easily overthink problems, but you won't get anywhere until you actually doing things, and you won't learn things without doing. So
I'm
yeah.
definitely going to say, I think Cambridge as an ecosystem has a lot of researchers and a lot of students as well who are keen on building their own projects into startups, but not a lot of people with commercial experience. So absolutely, I think Spark is tailored to deal with that kind of founder. Fantastic. Natalia?
Yeah, so I had started working on the idea in the Sync program before Sparks. That was kind of a part-time program that went throughout the year. I was doing an MBA judge, so 3 nights a week I'd go out to West Hub and first kind of found a co-founder through that and then started working on this idea. So I think we were in school the whole time. It was really intense, and so we were doing, coursework, all of that, and also just kind of building and trying to understand exactly what we wanted to solve for and really honing in on the problem and being as specific as possible. So I'd say we came into Spark knowing what problem we were trying to solve. We had an idea of how to do it, and we also had done a lot of kind of customer discovery, just learning about the market we were operating in, speaking to people, and so we had that under our belt, which was great, and then we kind of hit Spark and we're ready to start building quickly and actually getting our first customers and moving that direction. So I think Spark was a nice point for us to kind of take what we'd kind of been ruminating on and working towards and actually put it into something real.
Fantastic.
I'm forgetting the second question, but hopefully that answers.
And how's Minerva doing at the moment?
So at the moment, we launched with our first design partner about 2 weeks ago. We actually first started conversations with them through the Spark program. And actually, Francesca walked around to galleries with us. She was our mentor at the time and helped us kind of pitch, and that was amazing. So I think Spark was a great kind of launching off point, and then now built the product, it's gone out into the world, and people are using it, which is exciting, and hopefully off the back of that, we'll have a couple more coming in the next few weeks.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's been...
It sounds like you were Francesca's favourite startup on the program. So I didn't get that offer. Brilliant. Ruben?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess in my case, this is slightly different because I came from doing a PhD in the university. So I've been developing the technology for over 3 years, basically. So I was fairly mature in that side. Some aspects of it, of course, there's a big difference between an academic research and then a product, right? There's a jump. So yeah, when I went into Spark, I would say that I had I had something physical, I had the device, but I was lacking how am I going to commercialize this? So I also, coming back to your point on prior experience on entrepreneurship, I was a second-time founder, so I've already been in a startup before, but I have very much taken the role of a CTO and not thinking about it from a commercial standpoint. So I think that although I got the notion of it's very important to be solving a real problem and thinking about pain points, so that I was able to do fairly well. To me, the whole how do you go to market, how do you translate this, that was a complete unknown, right, before Spark.
Fantastic. I think, I don't know about you guys, but one of the things I found most beautiful about Spark was the genuine diversity we had, not only in terms of experience of the founder, some people were second-time founders, some people had absolutely no idea what they were doing, but also the diversity in the domains people were targeting and the problems they were going. So we had medical technology, and we've got a couple of medtech startups here, but we also had arts tech, we had fintech, we had femtech. Jump in if you think of any more, but loads. And so it's very hard to pinpoint who Spark is for. It's for anyone that wants to be an entrepreneur. But having said that, it would be great to hear what made you apply to Spark specifically, because there are lots of programs in Cambridge. What were you hoping to get out of Spark when you applied?
Yeah, that is a very good question. So to put in context as well, I did Impulse before, which is another program. And Impulse was useful to understand, how do you start the jump as a spinner? How do you go into building a company? So that was very useful. And I thought that Spark was the right step to take, because first of all, it had more of a commercial focus, market focus, which I think is quite important. So, like I said, Impulse was very much for tech-based. And I think the fast-pacedness of it was very important to me, because I really wanted to accelerate the technology as fast as possible. And I knew that the network that was available from the Spark program, that would become available from the Spark program, would really accelerate the next steps of the company.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think for me, it was kind of perfect timing, because I was just wrapping up the MBA and I was ready to go full-time on my startup. So getting kind of a 4-week sprint to start off the whole process of really launching the company made a lot of sense for us. So I think, yeah, the timing was great. And I knew, because I'd been through Founders, that it was a great team there. And I've been to a lot of eLab events. I was part of King's. So the marrying of the two things together was great. And if anything, I knew it'd be a great community and group of people to be around. And I guess going through being an entrepreneur is a really lonely and hard journey. And every time I put myself around groups of other founders, it was just a really great experience. So I think any opportunity I get to do that again, I tried to. So I guess it was all those things together.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I would definitely echo on the fact that it's a 1-month program, and from like a startup point of view, it's not like, if you can spend 1 month and be able to generate momentum from that 1-month period with so many other like-minded individuals, it's definitely worth the time to kind of spend on your on your business idea. And I think in terms of the kind of Spark program in general as well, because it's so connected with the kind of King's College and the university ecosystem as a whole, it really gives startup a great opportunity to collaborate with researchers, even with past entrepreneurs as well. You'd be surprised how many mentors we've met that actually had the experience and were very open about sharing their lessons learned, and all that really add up at the end of the program to help with our business and help us move forward meaningfully.
Brilliant. Yeah, exactly. And we all had an individual mentor assigned to us. Each company had their own mentor. We met multiple times a week, and they would guide us on building our pitch up and help us prepare for the demo day at the end of the program. And you also touched on something really important, I think. You could have the most incredible traits that make you suited to be a founder. You could have identified a great problem, you can be creative, you could have the technical understanding, but the actual act of building a company is incredibly intense. There's a lot of uncertainty. You don't get an opportunity to express these skills within the structure of a university or a bigger company. It's kind of up to you. And what Spark represents is an opportunity to really kind of field test if being a founder is right for you. Because it is a residential program, it is intense. There are deadlines you're expected to meet. And it does produce the most incredible sense of camaraderie as well. I don't know if we got lucky with our cohort, but we were firm friends a week in. We would be sort of staying, I'm not saying this is advisable, but we were staying up until 2, 3 in the morning in some of the college bars, working on our pitches all together, all around a big table. People were bringing food and coffee, and it was like a proper San Francisco type builder type environment. It was brilliant. So building on that, actually, what was your favorite thing about Spark? And to make it easy on you, it could be a workshop, it could be a quality of the program, or it could be a person. Microphone down there. Start us off for now.
I think it's the fact that we were able to meet so many great mentors who were very open about sharing their failures. Because I think these days you don't get that many opportunities to, first of all, talk to these people, and second of all, actually hear, from their kind of from them, the kind of lessons and failures that they made. And on LinkedIn, sometimes you see that people are talking so much about successes, but I think failures is they are it's a really important part of entrepreneurship, and being able to provide this environment that makes people feel comfortable sharing those kind of weaknesses and vulnerabilities is super helpful for founders. Yes.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think my favorite thing, well, one of my favorite things about the program was these sessions we had sitting in a circle and we just shared the biggest problem from that week. And people were quite real with their issues, very honest. And often it turned out that someone would put up their hand and say, actually, I've got a solution for you. I know someone I can connect you with. You can do some customer validation. I've got a connection in this market. And it shows that going through the process with your peers who are at a similar stage to you is incredibly beneficial. Fantastic. Natalia, great to hear from you.
But yeah, I was going to say that based on experience from other programs and things in Cambridge going on, I've never seen anything like the Spark mentoring scheme. I remember, especially if you guys remember what was it, day 2 or 3, that we had a whole set of maybe 40, 50 mentors sitting.
Speed dating.
Speed dating. Like you just had to
dating
talk
mentors.
about your venture. I need this, I need this, I need this, I need that. And they would put you in contact with people. I mean, we're going to probably talk about that later on, but you know, that was quite a unique feature that I really liked. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that. I was also going to say, I mean, the cohort was, I think, my favorite part of the program. It was just, I think we had such a great group of people, and I'm still friends with, I think everyone. We have a WhatsApp group, and I've seen a few in London here. It's always fun to have familiar faces around. So that was great. I mean, one specific example I can think of, I remember like week 2, I was like having this crisis. There was this like last minute award that I was nominated for. I didn't know what to do about it. And then all of a sudden, like a few people in the cohort were like, we're going to write you a letter. And I was like, what do you mean? And they just all came together and all signed this letter for me. And we'd known each other a week. And it was just like, it meant so much to me. It was so nice. And I think that just speaks to, the kind of like bond that you have going through this maybe traumatic experience all together. So yeah, I think it was definitely the cohort.
You're completely right. I remember there was one of the stars from our cohort, Nila Biotech. They were finalized for a program, the Climate Award in Europe. So one of the final companies in this European award. And we were all there voting for them and cheering them on at the same time. And they're now doing incredible things. Brilliant. Okay, cool. So equally, there's obviously a flip side to your favorite thing. And you sort of touched on a moment where there was a level of uncertainty during the program, and that is part of being a founder. There are highs, there are lows. It is a roller coaster. Did you find that the Spark program, well, during the Spark program, was there a messy moment, an uncertain moment? I mean, I can actually speak with authority on this. We pivoted our entire company at one point. So we actually pivoted the application of the technology we were working on, and that was a horrendous few days where we were building up to this massive presentation in this room with 100 very established investors, and we had no idea what we were going to say to them, what market we were going to do, any of the numbers, and we worked tirelessly. But we had the support from both our colleagues on the program, but also the mentors, also every person that came in to give her a workshop, and we had some incredibly accomplished founders come in. They were happy to stay behind and go get lunch and talk through these problems. It was brilliant. So was there a moment of uncertainty? Was there an inflection point during the Spark program for you? You've already touched on it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think that the intensity of the program brings in these things, which I think is actually a good way to test the company, to test the idea, to test yourself, because those moments of stress and having 10,000 things at the same time happening, those are gonna come, right? Like I said, I came from a PhD, much slower stuff. You've got your time to do your things, to do them in order and the way you want to. This was just erratic. You need to prepare this for the next mentor meeting, and then you have this new talk that is important, but you need to think about the one that you had just before an hour ago. So definitely, throughout the entire program, I think it was a stress testing. I think, particularly for me, and I think it was week 2. Yeah, I was talking with my mentor, and there was a point that I was trying to make, to get through in the way I was explaining what the company was trying to do and what the applications were. And there was no way. Like I was trying to explain it in a different way and in another different way. There was no way we couldn't communicate. I was like, how do we do this? And then we had a click moment.
Yep.
And it was like, I understand it now. You need to phrase it this way. And I said, okay, that makes absolute sense. I think that is fantastic. And it made quite a huge difference. So yeah, definitely remember that.
Just touching on that one second, if I remember correctly, when you first sort of started on the Spark program, you had this amazing platform technology, and it's when you have an amazing platform technology like that, it's very easy to get sort of carried away with these grand ideas. You know, I'm going to revolutionize this domain and this problem, and in reality, when you want to build a company sort of to be stable, you have to target this defined market first. What are the intermediary steps you can do? And is that something that you felt like you worked out over the Spark program?
Absolutely. So, you know, like you're saying, platform technology, plenty of applications, something crazy. So, you know, narrowing down, bringing focus to your idea, that is key. Not only from an investor perspective, because as an investor, you want to invest on a particular solution to a real problem, but also for yourself, because when you're doing market research, when you're trying to understand how, you know, if it's sustainable, if it will make sense, you need to really bring focus to your business. And yeah, Spark definitely helped with that because, you know, first I think that I had some preliminary ideas that mostly came from my research, but it really helped me understand that there were a lot of other potential applications that I hadn't thought of that were commercially more exciting, let's say. And yeah, also finding out which one was the best. Really.
Yeah, I mean, I can answer that one
Yeah, absolutely,
too. I mean, I think when we started with this idea, it came from this experience I had going to art galleries, feeling very overwhelmed, not knowing what to even think about if I wanted to buy art, feeling too intimidated to speak to a gallerist. And so I just felt for a really long time there was this problem of access that was keeping people from participating in a market that could benefit from it on both sides. So making art more accessible is this huge problem, and there are lots of different ways that you can tackle it and solve it. And I think when we started Spark, we had a solution for kind of the buyer side, the collectors, and also for the galleries, and also for fairs. And I think we really had to kind of narrow it down on what like the most pressing problems were at the time that we could start with that would give us a launching off point to then go broader in the market. So I think, yeah, we were really able to do that and focusing in on helping galleries at these really important moments like fairs where they spend a lot of money on just to reach new people. Made it really clear for us where we had to begin, and it's been great, and kind of that's what we're still focused on now. So I think it was a good place for us to figure that out.
Fantastic. Bernard?
I'll just add a few points. And I think for us during Spark, we were already like kind of having conversations with customers and, you know, trying to identify pain points and discover how we can help. And the fact that we're so kind of strongly connected with the Cambridge community really helped us helped kind of clinicians to listen to us more, kind of like gain that credibility in terms of like, because there are a lot of different startups out there.
I do this all the time, like in the first line of the email, University of Cambridge startup, University of Cambridge spin-out.
And it does add a lot of value when you're trying to pitch your idea to not only investors and, you know, I think sometimes more importantly, like customers.
Absolutely.
Is something that's super important. And the fact that we were just like going through that process and trying to refine our ideas with the best, brightest minds in Cambridge really does, you know, kind of help us move quickly.
Fantastic, thank you. I imagine for a lot of people who are in this room right now, you might be wondering, you know, am I at the right stage to be applying to a program like Spark? And it's a very hard question to answer because, you know, the nature of entrepreneurship, the diversity is huge. But I will say that what I noticed about our cohort, we had professors, we had alumni who had not been back to Cambridge in decades, we had master's students, we had PhD students, we had postdocs, we had early career researchers, and everyone was treated as an equal. There was no kind of barrier between anyone. It just felt like a big family. It was weird to get used to, but obviously incredibly a boon to the program. If you had one piece of advice to give to someone who was actively considering whether they should apply, what would you say? Bernard?
I would just say, just do it. I think as like I came from a very like, I did my PhD, you know, in kind of academia, we tend to kind of overthink a lot. we want to get everything right. We want to put out a plan, make sure that we mitigate all the risks possible. But I think in entrepreneurship there needs to be that recklessness, and kind of like you don't put your thoughts into actions rather than thinking about it. Just try and do it.
In a way, it's the first session of the course, right? Applying to what is it is a competitive program. Not everyone will get on, but taking that risk is part of entrepreneurship. Absolutely.
Exactly. You lose nothing just by applying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You don't really get any opportunity if you don't actually try for it. So you might as well. But I also would say don't spend too much time on your application. Don't overthink it. I mean, think through it, but just focus on a problem that you're trying to solve and a clear way to kind of fix it and go to market and all of that. But I think it should be kind of a genuine application. It's not research. It's not an academic exercise. It's just, I'm here. There's this problem that I feel really strongly about, and I want to solve for it. And here's how I think I'm going to do it in this amount of time. So I'd say definitely try for it. And also, if you're thinking about applying and don't know what to do, reach out to any of us, any people on the cohort. Definitely ask for help, advice. Is I guess what else I'd say.
Yeah, definitely agree with those points. I would have mentioned them as well. I think I mentioned earlier, it is a good way of stress testing your idea. I think that's key. You think you might have a good idea, but you need to check not just if the idea is good, commercially speaking, but also whether you are, you have the personality and the attitude that is needed for entrepreneurship, which is quite important. And not necessarily in the way that, I'm not good at pitching, so I shouldn't be an entrepreneur, because that's not how it works. But maybe you meet someone like, someone else that essentially in the program that has a different type of mindset or a different type of skills that are needed to build a company. And if you have the ability to see those and and create a company, an association, a group, right, that does that, it's a very important thing to do. And I think in terms of the application itself, I think being honest is very important, in the sense that, like you were saying, don't overcomplicate it, don't overthink it, and also, just talk about a real problem that you want to solve. I agree, and I'm being honest in the sense that you don't need to inflate anything. You don't need to make it sound like it's more than it is. If you are at stage A, that's a good stage to be in, and you should, embrace it. Essentially, it's a good time. The sooner you do it, the sooner you learn, the sooner you change your idea and pivot and do something better. Right?
Absolutely. The program does two things really well. It teaches you to be an entrepreneur. It actually increases your skills, and those are transferable. So whether you decide to continue with that pursuit after the program, or if it doesn't work out, then you will have skills and a network for life as well. But also, it's an incredible catalyst for your project as well. I mean, the development in that 4-week stint is incredible. And it's also, it's quite nice. It's I don't know, I found it a big increase of credibility to say that we've been through this brand new cutting edge Cambridge Incubator program that is Spark. And you find that a lot of the people you talk to, a lot of investors, especially if they're local, will be aware of Spark, even though it was the first year that it was running. I'm not sure how that was possible. But we had coverage in like Forbes and stuff as well. Obviously it increases the viability of your project and the progression of your product, but also it makes you a better founder as well. So if you're worried that you might not have the skills at the moment, the acumen, the commercial acumen, to bring your idea, your solution to your problem to life, then Spark is a great way to gain those skills. Something I've also found is that the boons of the program don't end after demo day. They seem to follow me around, and I can't shake you guys. I keep bumping into you in various events. So I'm curious, how have you felt that past the end of the Spark program, you've continued to engage with Kingsley Lab? Have you felt that the program is always going to be sort of supporting you and Polytechs and your respective startups?
Definitely. I mean, to begin with, we have a WhatsApp group. We keep talking to each other. Then we say, we're doing a late night coding session. And, you could just join, basically, at the manual college or whatever. So that definitely, it's already ongoing and happening, and events and things. I mean, we've been to multiple events. We went to the House of Lords. We went to, we had some dinners as well organized, which is great. So definitely events and meeting up with people for sure. And then in terms of, more like specific to the company, definitely had a big impact because I can think of two good examples. One is that through one of the other members of the cohort, I was able to get a contact in the horse racing industry, which is quite a difficult one to tap into. So that was great, and it's opened a lot of doors. So it's still ongoing, very, very important. And yeah, the other one that I could think of is that through one of these massive mentoring sessions I talked about, that you just jump from one to the other, I got a contact from someone in Canada, that lives in Spain for some reason. I'm Spanish, and for some weird reason, it just coincides that we know each other, the region that she's in. And yeah, she basically her husband worked in selling the main accompanying product to what I'm trying to do in the vet space. So it was a massive thing, having that contact really makes a huge difference as to how we approach not only investors but also potential corporates, and it's opened up a lot of lines for sure.
Thank you very much, Natalia.
Yeah, I mean, I think, being able to stay in touch with the cohort, go to events has been great. I feel like I'm back in Cambridge at least once a month for something eLab or Spark related, and it's good to kind of keep all those relationships going. And I feel like I always meet someone new and interesting somehow who's interested in the art space or related to the art space because of that. So it's been amazing. I'm actually having a call tomorrow with someone from our cohort. It was a ton of connections just through her family in the art market, and kept telling me throughout the program to reach out, and finally we're having our conversation. So that's one good example of it. But really, it's a good network to be part of.
And what's crazy is that this is the first year it ran, and the network is already this strong. So each year, sort of progressing onwards, is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
I think for me, for sure, the cohort itself gave us plenty of support that I'd never thought about, and it's just randomly, one week, then one of the cohort members saying, "Oh, I came across this clinic that might be someone that you should talk to." It's just once we have built this community, it feels like we're in it for life, and kind of whenever we see or come across anything that's relevant, we try our best to help each other out, and I think that's also about part of entrepreneurship as well, is about also trying to complete the cycle and giving, taking, and kind of help each other out in those times when they're struggling or are hitting a roadblock. Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm just aware of the time. I think we've got 10 minutes left, so should we move on to some questions before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. So we have 3 copies of David Cleevely's Serendipity. If you don't know David Cleevely, look him up. He is a Cambridge legend, and he's done lots of things, Raspberry Pi, or loads of Cambridge companies, and he's written an amazing book as well. So the best 3 questions will be getting a copy. I think I'm allowed to say that, is that right? Yeah, okay, fantastic. Best 3 questions will be getting a copy of Serendipity. So feel free, if anyone's got any questions, ask us about the program, ask us about our projects and our journey as entrepreneurs. Fire away. Fantastic.
You spoke a lot about kind of the positives and the potential. Can you dive a bit deeper on some of the challenges you faced along the way?
Yeah.
And particularly, if I could say the survival challenges, right? During a program like this where you don't have income generated through the business yet.
That's a really, really good question. I found the biggest unforeseen challenge, I was touched on briefly, is the sense of loneliness that you get as a founder. You don't really have people you can reach out to support you, and that is why a residential program that people are going through the exact same thing. That's why it's so effective. That's why it works so well. I was in a very similar situation. So we wanted to go full time on our project, and we didn't have the means to do so. And absolutely, that can be an inhibiting factor. And there isn't really an easy solution to that. There are creative approaches. So it might be the case that you work with experts to get co-development deals, for example. So maybe your future clients are already pre-purchasing your product, whatever that may be. They might be helping you to develop that. So if it's a piece of software, for example, they could be funding that in exchange for first access rights. Or it could be more logistical. It could be finding part-time work that allows you to build contacts in a space whilst you also simultaneously work on your startup. Does anyone else have any advice or additions to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's an ongoing thing. I mean, like Callum said, being a founder is a lonely journey, and it's difficult, and funding is not always easy. It's not straightforward. But I think personally, I've given myself a timeline. I felt like I would regret it if I didn't give myself X months to do this full time and give it everything that I have and see where I am. So for me, that was kind of how I framed it for myself. And hopefully at the end of it, I'll have some more funding and can keep going. But I think, really leaning on groups like Spark, your network, reaching out to people, asking for help when you need it is sort of how I've gotten through it. And I mean, also the program in and of itself was kind of trial by fire. We were doing workshops and supposed to be building and supposed to be preparing to pitch in front of this massive room of investors all within a 4-week span and getting new customers. And so it was really intense and hard and definitely not straightforward. But I think leaning on each other is what probably got us all through it. And it's kind of the same now, just being a founder out in the world. You have to kind of lean on your people, the people that you have to help you. I find that putting myself around other founders, finding co-working spaces where there are other entrepreneurs helps a lot. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing now.
It's a really good question because everyone's going to have multiple responsibilities at any one time in life. And so how can you make the time for the program? I think the application process, you can give that opportunity to be honest, to share with you how Spark can help you, and we can tailor, and make certain adjustments if need be. Entrepreneurship is so tough, and I can come from this personally. I've built a technology company. So at that early stage, what do you do? How do you finance it? Where do you get investment from and from who? And that's really what Spark is about. It's about making sure that you have strong foundations and an opportunity to move forward quickly. Because it's either going to work or potentially it might be that it's given you the knowledge to say, actually, it's not going to work in this form and I need to pivot. And that is really, really an incredible opportunity to get there faster through the network and the minds and the resources that somewhere like King's has. Because if you're going to put all this energy and effort in, do it in a way in which it can be supported and you can kind of navigate more challenges more quickly. What we're going to try and do with this year's programme as well is give an opportunity to those that are joining the new cohort to meet investors earlier in the year, end of June, so you can start to build up those relationships early. Because it's not always about investment. If you can get those first commercial contracts, which will help you from taking less external capital and give you more control, then that is what Spark is about too. So everybody will come to the programme with their own challenges and unique set of criteria. Don't let those things limit you from making that application, because one of the things that we're really passionate about here at eLab is making sure that we do build this wider community. So if you're not even successful in this year's programme, maybe we can help you with other opportunities through the eLab. Maybe we can connect you with other opportunities across Cambridge and our network, and we can bring you in and we can help you in other ways. So do see the application form not just as an opportunity to apply to Spark, but to also let us know what you're passionate about. Let us know how we can help you, and we'll do just that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow, okay. I saw you first.
From the program,
Yeah.
since the program, is there anything that you guys have learned during the program that has been able to help you solve problems or whatever else following the program? This is something the accountants that I've learned to help me implement and execute tasks on the program after the conclusion of the program.
Absolutely. And if I gave a full answer, we'd be here, until tomorrow. I think definitely the most critical thing was building a product roadmap. So it's, again, this idea of getting carried away with grand visions of, you love your product, you love your solution. You're convinced as soon as you explain it to someone else that they're also going to love it. But that's not exactly the case. You've got to learn how you can break it down into understandable milestones, how you can pitch that to investors effectively. And that is something that Spark exclusively taught me. I didn't really learn that from anywhere else. That is a gift from Spark. Any additions?
Absolutely. I mean, embedded technology has, you can think of many applications, right? When I went into Spark, I was like, oh, what is this, a platform technology? Am I a veterinary company? Am I a cardiology company? I had no idea. And like I said, I've done previous accelerators before, or incubators before. None of them really helped me clarify that idea. It was very much, try out and see what happens. In this case, because we had to pitch at the end, for real, as opposed to just build some nice slides, basically. You really had to break it down and think, like, okay, how am I going to build a narrative around this technology and sell it and put in the best light, essentially, so that investors will think of it. So yeah, definitely learned a lot from that.
And considering we're raising at the moment,
Yes.
that we employ this every single day. So yeah, loads. Thanks.
Yep.
At the back.
If you go back and do the incubator again with a new idea, is there anything you would do differently?
Honestly, no. I don't think so. I think as long as you have sort of the elements we covered earlier, you have your problem, you might have a bit of early traction or technology that you want to turn into a solution. You don't need much more than that. The great thing about Spark is it is accessible. It's for anyone with an idea. It teaches you to be an entrepreneur. It lets you trial being an entrepreneur. And at the same time, it gives you this rush of adrenaline as well towards that goal. I definitely wouldn't approach it. I wouldn't do any, there's no prep I would do. There's no, maybe just having more of an open mindset going in and just going in with the understanding that everyone, and that includes the people who are in my cohort, the people on the table next to me, will be able to teach me vital lessons about building a company and understanding a product. Yeah. Natalia?
I think similar. I would say it's an intense 4 weeks, and I think just clearing yourself up to be fully present and 100% while you're there, whatever you need to do beforehand, so that you're free to be there all the time is probably. I think I did that for the most part, but I had a lot going on. My final paper was due in the middle of Spark, and it would have been nice to finish that ahead of time. Yeah, so whatever you can do to make the most of it while you're there is probably the advice that I'd give.
Fantastic. Yes, at the front.
My name is Julie. Actually, I'm learning entrepreneurship with Patricia, and also I'm a journalist for FT Chinese. So my question for me and also for media. So I think because now our teachers say every idea, please plus AI or tech. But for quite a lot of people from the humanity background like me, but we probably will have idea, passion, but we don't have not tested yet, or we just tested a little bit. No money yet, no team, because it's hard to find partner. And also, even maybe I have some experience, maybe some lessons from the partner not that reliable, something like that. So will you have some orientation to just take the technical route, or like the humanity background people?
Yeah.
How do you look at that?
It's a great question. We had a bit of an ongoing joke, what's your company name? Polytex? No, you're Polytex.ai now, just to attract the investment. Yes, there is obviously a hype around certain technologies, and if you aren't from a technical background, if you aren't building from a PhD or a postdoc, then it's hard. What do I actually have? What am I building on? How can I prove to people that what I'm going to be doing is there aren't people who are going to do it better? I will say that there are things you can do even without any technical staff. For example, you can validate your problem, and that's something I think, especially a humanities background, would be fantastic at. If you understand there's a problem in a certain industry, going out, interviewing stakeholders, putting together a business plan is stuff you can be doing without hiring engineers to build your solution to that.
Yeah, I was going to say that precisely. Discovery is something you can do immediately, and that is the biggest thing that you're going to get, because it's the earliest form of traction, and it's a traction that is very valuable because it demonstrates that there is a need for what you're doing. And I think that is something that I think of entrepreneurship in general, and people that are in that field, is that they're not prejudiced usually. I mean, there's hyped areas, of course, like everything, but they're not prejudiced. If there is a problem that needs solving, and you can convince them that it is scalable, I think that they will go for it, regardless of where it comes from. And in fact, you have a very special angle, because if you make AI, to improve telecommunication posts, like, okay, yeah, great. But if you're doing a new tool for teaching, children how to read better, well, that has a very important point to it, right? Like, there's social aspect of it that is very important.
Yeah, I was just going to say briefly, I mean, I'm operating in an industry that is very, not anti-AI, but not very comfortable yet with AI. And so actually, when I'm talking about my problem with people in the market, I don't really talk much about the AI that I'm using, and I really see the AI as a way to, it's a solution, it's a means to kind of helping them, but the problem is the core part of it. And yeah, I think getting out there and actually speaking with your customers, going in person and talking to them is something anyone can do. And very separately, I think because of all the new AI tools that are out there that are really accessible, the LLMs, you can kind of build a website without having any sort of technical expertise whatsoever, and that's helped me iterate really early versions of the product very quickly to just sort of visualize what I'm thinking about. So I think now more than ever, it's kind of easy to have an idea and actually mock it up and put something very simple out there into the world. And you don't need a technical background to do that. You just need to know how to use a GPT or a Lovable where you can type in a sentence and it outputs a website or a product for you.
Very quickly on that as well, we found that people with technical expertise in the cohort were helping people who didn't. So we found people helping people host websites, for example. We had people come in who had developed new AI tools, for example, and giving people free access and credits to use to help develop their technology as well. We had someone who had been in investment banking for a decade, right, and led these firms. And he said, if anyone's got any financial modeling questions, please come to me, I'll help you work through them all. So you don't necessarily need to have a background in tech or even really in the problem. Obviously, there's caveats to that, but yeah, the support of the program really helps you through that. Thank you. Let's go with, on the end.
I understand that some of you have been in the Sync program before, so I wonder what kind of learnings and what kind of progress have you done in Sync, and then how did that translate into Spark, and then what was the big steps there?
That was me. Yeah, so Sync is, I guess, the earliest of early stage programs. If you're just someone who wants to be an entrepreneur and maybe you have an idea, maybe you don't, but you know that you want to build and you're serious about it, then you join Sync. You find a co-founder, hopefully, and then you start building, and hopefully by the end of it, you have something to speak for, and you can, I think with Sync, you can also pitch for the 20K from Cambridge. So I think for me, I've wanted to be an entrepreneur for a really long time. I had this art idea for years and years and never did anything about it, and felt like still the problem in the market was not solved. So I went into Sync kind of thinking around it, but then met a co-founder there, and we started kind of doing all the customer discovery. There were similarly lots of workshops kind of throughout the year on kind of pitching and coming up with a business plan and investment, and also like product and sale. There was kind of stuff like that kind of glittered throughout the program, but it was part-time. And so I think it was nice to get the foundations through Sync and kind of start honing in on the problem. But then by the time Spark came around, it was a fully intense 1-month program. I was done with my MBA and ready to kind of be full on in it. And I think it was a nice transition where we kind of honed things out throughout the year part-time and then went full-time during Spark, got kind of all the help we needed to do that, and were able to launch pretty soon after. So that's kind of how it fed in. They fed into one another for me. I think it's not the same for everyone. Like, people are at different stages out of Sync. Not everyone meets a co-founder. It's kind of like Love Island. It's a bit weird, but yeah, I don't know. For me, they kind of fed very nicely into one another. I'm happy to talk more after too.
That's a good point. I mean, I think there is networking and drinks after this, so feel free to ask us any more questions at the bar. Any more questions? Yeah.
So I believe a big part of entrepreneurship is kind of iterating and improving on past experience. So for Spark as a program, what have you learned and taken away from the first cohort that you're gonna sort of build on and improve on in the second cohort? How will it be different? And so what more can we expect that didn't happen in the first cohort?
That's a cool question.
It's a good question. So more Well, first of all, as Shilpa alluded to earlier, launching this initiative was like climbing mountains, right? And to get the resources together to enable these opportunities was not to be underestimated. And so you start and then you build and you grow. And one of the big emphases is this ongoing year-round community. Like Spark doesn't stop at demo day. Once you're part of the network or part of the wider eLab network, regardless of whether you come through the Spark program or not, we really are truly motivated and passionate about getting you the opportunity to live out or build your venture and give it the best possible chance. It is really hard, entrepreneurship, really, really, really hard. And whatever we can do to help you get there faster or open doors, then that's the power of Kings and that's the power of the Entrepreneurship Lab. Because sometimes it's just one connection, one conversation that will change everything. If you can get through to the one customer that you would want to build a pilot with, just the one, that is going to start your journey. Because if you're good enough for that one, others will follow. And that is the power of the network. And so we will leave no stone unturned, particularly with the Senior Advisory Board. We are deeply passionate about making this the best university the best university incubator program that this country has seen, and put it globally on a map, and make sure that everybody knows about the Spark program. We are in year 2, we are ambitious. Hopefully soon we'll be up there with the likes of Y Combinator, but we will be pushing the boundaries of what's possible, because the more we can access founder-friendly investment, the more we can connect you with the right investors that are going to support you, not just with money, but are going to support your mission and are aligned with your venture, the greater chance of success for not just your venture, but to also rebuild economic growth for this country and make sure that the companies that are coming out of Spark are ones that are also positively contributing to our wider economy. So we are deeply passionate. So hopefully that answers your question, but it's yet to be seen, but we'll get everything that we can to enable you to do more.
I'm looking forward to be able to put Spark 1 next to our company name on LinkedIn, the same way you put like YC24.
Yeah, sure, but did you want to add anything?
I think the only thing I'd say is, depending on the stage you're at, Spark may not be for you. So if you're not familiar with the rest of the eLab programs, do have a look at them. For example, Sophie rather runs the eLab Residential, which is the program that we run for the early stage of entrepreneurs. And if you are at a very, very early level, and I think just based on some of the questions that you had, it may be worth looking at that. So it's really about determining if Spark is right for you and where you are in your journey and the outcomes that you want to achieve. Because we are, enough of a point of in my opening remarks was the fact that Spark was also created for university alumni. I'm not sure there's many in the audience apart from me, right? But as university alumni, we just thought this was an incredible way to be able to bring alumni back to King's and to university, either through the curriculum, where you will be able to benefit from world-class mentorship from university alumni that have gone on to build incredible businesses or venture funds. But we had one alum in Spark 1.0. Callum talked earlier about the sharing circle, which was an incredible way within the first week for the community to come together. That was initiated by Ali, who was one of our alum participants. And I think the diversity of the cohort is something that we want to continue to curate and build upon. I'd love to see a few more alumni in Spark 2.0. So yeah, hope that answers a few more questions.
Brilliant. Kamia, are you here to open the bar?
I'm saying I'm also an alumni and oh yeah, I was thinking if you want to do one-to-ones with people, you obviously now recognize people that have been involved with the program. There's plenty of time to do that as well afterwards.
Absolutely. We'll hang around. You can come and ask us any questions. We've got spark@kings.com. You can get through to us on the email there. Do come in, reach out. We're here to answer any questions. And good luck on whatever journey it is that you're building. And thank you so much to our panel tonight. It's been really... Oh, okay, we didn't give out the book.